This presentation will guide the working groups as we move forward into the research phase of the self-study report. A review of accomplishments to date and the role of institutional research at Harcum will also be presented. As of February 2014, Harcum has an assessment model and reporting template that can be used to establish consistency in assessment procedures and to meet the needs of institutional and educational assessment per the Middle States Standards of Excellence. In June, the Self-Study Design Report was submitted, our guideline for the Self-Study Report, which was approved by Dr. Schneider on behalf of the Middle States Commission. In July, Harcum posted an informative Middle States webpage where the college community can learn about the accreditation process and track the progress of the working groups toward completion of the self-study report. And in August, the college approved a new mission statement. We are able to validate the claims of the mission statement of outstanding academic and career preparation, experiential education, and student mentoring, and can exemplify our core values of excellence, civility, empowerment, integrity, and diversity. And how were we able to accomplish all of this? We ate a lot of chocolate. As of September, the 3 positions that Middle States requires institutions to report on the annual institutional profile, the Accreditation Liaison Officer, the Coordinator of Outcomes Assessment, and the Coordinator of Institutional Research, have been filled. The completion of this trilogy will provide the guidance and structure needed to meet the standards for the purpose of the upcoming accreditation and to ensure that Harcum remains accountable to the standards well after the site visitors leave. The Strategic Planning and Institutional Research Department, known as SPIR, is composed of Executive Director Tim Ely and IT Specialist Michael Santiago. The mission of SPIR is to oversee the planning and implementation of the college's strategic plan that involves reviewing, updating, and making sure that the constituents and stakeholders know about the plan and that the elements of the plan are implemented. Another part of SPIR's mission is providing accurate data and integrated analysis of that data and research to support the strategic planning process, institutional effectiveness initiatives, administrative decision-making, and external reporting requirements per Middle States. And finally, to advocate for the quality, integrity, and appropriate use of data at the college. In regard to the Middle States self-study process, SPIR focuses on building strong connections among the institutional goals with the strategic planning process and the self-study, and to do this by linking those items in a purposeful way and supporting the working groups on implementing those initiatives. The current projects of SPIR in reviewing, updating, and communicating the strategic plan involves a high-level process, including the President's Cabinet, in going through the plan item by item, establishing due dates and who will complete what, and how it connects to the college's mission statement and strategic goals. A second project involves a digital dashboard that will help with the data-driven decision-making at the college by placing a digital dashboard on the desktop site of key decision-makers so that they can access up-to-the-date real-time reports and filter them according to their needs. When we last met in July, Working groups were assigned the task of locating the data that you targeted as needing to answer your working group questions relating to each Middle States standard. The data source location template was presented for each group to use to correlate the data to the question and to the standard. This completed template is a prime example of identifying the documents and the data needed to answer the question, providing detailed information on where the documents can be found, and importantly, identifying areas of need which can then be addressed and supported. Here's another example of a completed template which serves as a good example for correlating the questions to the data and where the supporting documentation can be found. As we begin to use the data to answer the questions that will become the narrative for each standard in the self-study report, keep in mind that you will need to address these 3 items: the strengths and how we meet each standard, recommendations for improvement to better meet each standard, and providing documentation on assessment of our practices and procedures as they relate to each standard. For a preview of what lies ahead, see the entire 2007 Self-Study Report from Lehigh Carbon Community College, who were reaffirmed and commended by Middle States on their self-study process and report. We will meet next as a large group on Tuesday, October 21st. At this meeting, each group will be asked to give a gist of your standards. A gist is a brief statement that embodies the essential point or meaning of something. A representative for each of the 14 standards will have 3 minutes to present how you answered some of your working group questions using the data you identified for that question, being sure to include the resources and the data or the documents as references in your presentation. On Tuesday, October 7th, working groups will meet independently in assigned meeting areas to work on your presentations and to have the ALO be available to answer questions and offer guidance as needed. And how are we doing in following our timeline as reported on page 20 of the Self-Study Design Report? Well, we're right on schedule, having completed the planning phase by August of 2014 and moving into the research phase as of September 2014. Please keep in mind the editorial style and format for all reports, as stated on page 32 of the Self-Study Report and as listed here. And a sincere thank you for all of your hard work and dedication.